As many of you know, I made my first million at the tender age of 31. That was quite some time ago now. That was back in 2011. Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Curtis A. Merriweather Jr. You can call me Dr. Curtis. As many of you know, in 2020, I was named a game changer by the White House Policy Advisor for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And today, I want to serve as your government contracting coach. Now, many of you know the mission of this channel is to educate entrepreneurs, to help entrepreneurs overcome common business challenges. And the way we do this is through education, consultation, and training support services. Now, our channel is unique because it's based on 26, almost 27 plus progressive years of experience. As many of you know, I never had the traditional high school job. My very first job in high school was in a government contracting facility, although back then I did not realize that's what I was doing. It was based on 27 plus years of progressive experience, advanced education, and lessons learned. And the goal of this channel is to lower the learning curve for you. Now, there's a new Instagram handle on the screen. It's Dr. Merriweather for mayor. Next week, I will be announcing my candidacy for the mayor of North Charleston, South Carolina. So all I'm gonna say on this video, if you want to support, there'll be a link in the bio below. You can understand more about my platform. You can support the campaign. If you're in the local area, you can definitely volunteer to provide your support. We want to definitely change the narrative in the city. But enough about that. You'll hear more about that in future videos. But for those who are interested in our government contracting course, you got 8figuregovcon.com. That is the web URL for my teaching platform, where we have two flagship programs. That's the 8-figure government contracting for barbers and cosmetologists, and the 8-figure mastery 5X bundle program. Okay. If you want to go straight to the store page, the URL is on the screen. Now, to celebrate the announcement of my candidacy, by popular demand, I've been reading your comments, I've been getting your messages. I am going to give you a new coupon code. I don't think we're going to do many more of these. And once my class gets to a certain limit, I'm going to probably cut it off. I'm going to definitely continue supporting any students that I have at that time. So for a limited time, on July 18th, you can use coupon code DISCOUNT. It's going to expire at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on July 18th. Do not expect many more of these. I'm going to be quite honest. Do not expect many more of these. Okay. Now, before I get into my topic, if you have not already, I want you to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way, anytime I drop new content, you will be the first one to be notified. As you guys know, I typically drop content between Thursday and Saturday. So just so you know. Now, we have a great topic today. What I want to talk about today is becoming a millionaire. As many of you know, I made my first million at the tender age of 31. That was quite some time ago now. That was back in 2011. And I want to talk about the 8 professionals, and I do mean 8, the 8 professionals that you need to build relationship with. These 8 professionals are key for entrepreneurs. And today, I want to talk about who they are, so you can get an understanding of who you need to have on your team. As you know, success leaves clues, and no man is an island. If we're going to do anything monumental, if we're going to do anything transformational, success, riches, wealth, whatever term you want to use, it requires teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. So I want to talk about 8 professionals you need to add to your arsenal. Okay, let's get ready to jump into this conversation. So, the first person that we have up, you need you a good coach. Now, if you have not looked at the 8-figure government contracting course, I definitely encourage you to give it a strong consideration. I want to serve as your government contracting coach. This is for me, this is not about money. This is not a money play. Now, we do charge a course fee to pay for the platforms and the time and everything that goes into the video production quality of the platform. That stuff isn't free. But I give way more value than I'm asking for. This is not a sales pitch. Even if you don't use me, I need you to find a great coach that's culturally aligned and integrally aligned, where you guys have similar belief systems and values. So, according to the International Coaching Federation, this is not my definition. This is the definition by the International Coaching Federation. A coach is someone who partners with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. Your coach needs to have already climbed the mountaintop. They need to be further along in this process than you, because you want them to be able to lean on education, experience, lessons learned, so you can bypass a lot of the mistakes they've made. And it's not to say you won't make mistakes, because you probably will, but you shouldn't repeat the same mistakes that your coach has made. There's a difference between a coach and a mentor. There's a difference. But we're talking about coaching today. You got different types of coaches. You got career coaches. You got executive coaches. You have life coaches, and you have performance coaches. I fall somewhere between an executive coach and a business coach. My job is to help you to move forward, blow through your obstacles, because you may have some, but how do we get through them and around them successfully, intact, in peace, stronger, wiser than we did before that obstacle occurred? That is the job of a coach. Now, you can call me the GovCon coach. What we're going to do is we're going to take what you know about your business, and we're going to layer on top business and government contracting principles so you can find success. So you can have top line and bottom line revenue growth potential. It's just not about top line. It's also about net, not gross, net profitability. And that's my job. That's my job. My job is to help you get out of your own way. Because sometimes we get in our own way. Sometimes our success is hindered because we just fail to take action. My job is to give you an actionable strategy you can implement and execute upon to find success. I tell my students, if you do what I tell you to do, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when you find individual success. But you need a team. So the very first teammate many of you need to add is a business or government contracting coach. And I hope you'll consider me. Go to our website and figure out how to work with me. Let's move on. So number one, you need a business, or in my case, a government contracting / executive coach and or strategist. That's what I do. Number two, you're going to need an accountant. Now, an accountant's job involves keeping good, integral financial records for the business, knowing what's going out and what's coming in, keeping up with the debits and the credits. We need accountants who understand, and government contracting, we need accountants who understand cost accounting and the rules of government contracting. You need an accountant who understands the rules of government contracting. What are my allowable and unallowable costs? I'm not talking about legal versus illegal. I'm talking about the cost that we can use to build our rate structure, known as a RAT rate calculation is what I often call it. So a government contract accountant should be doing these things or helping you do these things: bank reconciliations, budget prep, cost segregation, financial statement preparation, time and expense, and your RAT rate calculation. These are just a few of the things that your accountant should be doing. Now, there's a difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant. Let me say it again. There is a difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant. Now, based on your size, business may require, it may dictate who you need to start with. For my smaller businesses, I could recommend an accountant, from an accountant to an accounting manager, from an accounting manager to a controller, from a controller to a CFO, based on the size, scope, and complexity of the organization. Most new companies do not have the budget for a CFO. Now, there are some options out there called CFO leasing and the like, but you need an accountant, someone who can do what I call the blocking and the tackling, the day-to-day operations you need to be doing as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to make sure your business stays strong fiscally, financially, making sure you know what's going in and coming out, being able to manage that business based on the P&L, the profit and loss statement. As you know, there are three primary statements in business. You have your profit and loss statement, also known as an income statement, also known as a P&L. You have your balance sheet, and you have your statement of cash flows. Your income statement says these are the income coming in, revenue, and the expenses, and also gives you some idea about net profitability, operating expenses, and the like. Your balance sheet talks about assets and liability and equity. It gives you some indication of the worth of the company. And the statement of cash flow shows in an itemized fashion what's coming in, what's going out, based in three major categories. Now, that was a quick, accounting 101 primer. Let's keep moving. Number 3. So number 1 was our business coach. Hopefully you'll consider me. Number 2 is our accountant. Number 3 is our attorney. Now, an attorney, I don't want to make any assumptions. An attorney is a person who is legally qualified and licensed to represent a person in a legal matter, such as a transaction or lawsuit. You also want your attorneys looking over some of these contracts, but you need to make sure you have the right type of attorney. All attorneys are not created equal. It's not that they're good or bad, but you want to find the right attorney for what you need them to do. If you're doing corporate or business work, you don't need a real estate attorney. Now, real estate attorney has its place, especially if you're in the midst of a real estate transaction. But if you're not doing a real estate transaction, you probably need a good corporate attorney. But attorneys help you with your contract agreements, such as employee handbooks. That's going to be probably an employment attorney, someone who understands, well-versed in employment law, especially based on your state. Your non-disclosure agreements, these are also known as an NDA. Your subcontract agreements, I call these sub-Ks, and then your teaming agreements, also known as a TA. Now, a corporate attorney, they help with things like corporate formation. Corporate formation is a big fancy word for saying starting a company, filling out the forms of incorporation or the forms of organization. That's what a good corporate attorney does. Your employment law or your employment attorneys, they do employment law in states. So is your state at will state or right to work state or not? Number 3, you got your government contracts attorneys. They help with bid protests. So whether we're talking GAO, the Government Accountability Office, or SBA, the Small Business Administration, both have a specific protest process, and you use the protest process based on some nuances about the contract type. Let me just say it that way to keep it simple. They also have NDAs, sub-Ks, and TAs, as I mentioned previously. Then you got your real estate attorneys. Now, these are not all. These are just a handful to give you an idea that we have different attorneys based on specialty. Now, your real estate attorneys, they're going to look at your real estate leases. They're going to do your letters of intent for you, your purchase agreements, and the like. That's the purpose of our attorneys, to make sure we protect ourselves. Now, when you get a contract from or NDA or TA or a sub-K from a prime, if you're not a prime, that contract is going to be written to favor the prime. Just like when you become prime, your NDA, TA, sub-K, all of those agreements, they're gonna favor you. So just like the prime has attorneys, if you're a sub, you need attorneys to make sure you can come up with agreements that are mutually beneficial via a redlining process. Do not just sign a contract because it was sent to you. Redline the contract and go through the back and forth negotiation to come to an agreement that you both, prime and sub, can live with. Let's keep moving. That was number 3. So number 1, we talked about the business or government contracting coach, which is what I am. Number 2, we talked about our accountants. Number 3 was your attorney. Number 4, here's another big one. You need a good insurance broker. You need a great, not a good, you need a great insurance broker. Now, an insurance broker acts as an intermediary, go between you and an insurer. This is probably the only time you need a middleman is when it comes to insurance brokerage. But I digress. You need different insurance brokers to purchase different insurance policies. Now, you got a bunch of different types of insurance. I'm just going to cover 2 of the major ones. You have corporate insurance. This helps you obtain the right insurance for your business. This may be cyber insurance, errors and omission, workman's comp. This could be the director's insurance. This could be key man insurance policies for some of your bigger lines of credit. Then you have health insurance. Now, typically, they're different brokers. So typically my corporate insurance person is not the same historically for me as your health insurance broker. Now, health insurance is what it says, help you obtain the right insurance type for your employees. Now, your health insurance broker is going to help with things like traditional health insurance, whether that's PPO, high deductible, 80-20 plans, flexible spending accounts, also known as FSAs, dental, vision, short, long-term disability, life insurance. You can help your employees get a term life insurance policy in case something happens while they're employed by you. These are things that a health insurance broker is going to help with. And they're going to really understand where your business is and help you come up with options right size for your type of business. Okay. So let's keep moving. We had number 1 was our government contracting or business coach. Number 2 was our accountants. Number 3 was our attorneys. Number 4 is our insurance broker. Let's move into number 5, commercial bankers. We all need relationships with good commercial bankers. Now, your commercial bankers provide clients with information about banking solutions and credit products. For my business owners, this is not the same as your personal banker. It's your favorite local branch that you go in and you say hi to. Typically, the commercial bankers are normally in the downtown office in the city in which you reside. Traditionally, they're in the high-rise building and they're on the upper floors. They deal with the business people. The personal bankers deal with you and your home and your car and things like that. The commercial bankers deal with the business people. Business people do not need to be trying to get loans from the personal people to do business things. All the personal banker try to do is give you like a signature line or something like that. You want to be dealing with the commercial bankers. Now, bankers going to advise on the following. They're going to talk about cash and a treasury management. They're going to try to offer you credit cards. Talking about commercial bankers. They're going to give you loan options, whether that's a traditional line of credit, an asset-based lending line, or an SBA loan. Now, most of the commercial banks have an SBA loan because the SBA has a lending process as well. Now, when you start talking about the SBA loans, you got to meet the requirements of the SBA and the requirements of the bank. So for some, that SBA loan sometimes may be a little more onerous than the traditional line of credit or asset-based lending line, but you need to be aware. So number 5 are our commercial bankers. Your commercial bankers also help you get loans on buildings as well. I'm just saying, those are your commercial bankers. So they are the ones who deal with the business community. Number 6, everybody out the gate is not going to be qualified or bankable. Not that your credit isn't good, because your credit may be fine, but the business doesn't have any credit. So because the business oftentimes doesn't have credit, sometimes entrepreneurs have to get alternative financing. One particular type that I want to talk about today from alternative finance perspective is factoring or invoice factoring. It's a type of financing that allows businesses to sell their outstanding invoices to a factoring company in exchange for a portion of the invoice amount up front. So they're basically going to keep you from having to wait that net 30, net 45, net 15 day. Now, most of your small businesses, you do qualify for the Prompt Payment Act. So most of the time you can get paid within 15 days, but there are some exceptions. Okay. Now, the invoice factoring company, not the original business, is responsible for collecting customer payment. So when you sell this invoice, the factoring company is going to actually serve as the debt collector to get paid on that money. Now you have non-recourse versus recourse factoring line. And what that basically means is non-recourse, if something happens, they don't get paid, you walk away and live to fight another day. Now, with this type of factoring line, you're going to pay a few more percentage points. Then you have a recourse factoring line, typically lower interest rate. And if you are not, if the factoring company is not paid, they're going to seek their payment from you. Fewer percentage points, but you have more risk. So we talk about non-recourse versus recourse, factoring or alternative financing or credit facilities. All those terms are useful. When we start talking about, we're talking about the leverage of risk. The non-recourse, the risk is on the factoring company. And of course, they're going to do more due diligence to make sure that invoice is integral and that is really going to be high likelihood of being paid, high probability of being paid. That's what the finance or factoring company is going to do in a non-recourse situation. In a recourse situation, your personal credit worthiness may come into account, and they're going to be a lot more trusting of you making sure they get paid. Now they're still going to call and do the debt collection function for you. However, if they're not paid in some pre-advised time period laid out in the agreement, they're going to come after you. And I'm going to just keep moving. So be very careful, understand what you're doing. This could be a great financing strategy, especially in lieu of not being able to get a bank loan, not being bankable, because typically a commercial bank is going to want 3 years of taxes and 3 years of financials. So if you're a newer business, that may be a tall order. Have I seen some people still get finance in the absence of that? Yes. Is it normal? No, it's not. They want to see the credit worthiness and the financial capability of the business. They want to get their money back. And then number 7, you need an investment banker. Now, this is one that you don't hear a lot of government contractors talking about. So an investment banker is an individual who often works as part of a financial institution and is primarily concerned with raising capital for corporations, governments, and other entities. Now, investment bankers primarily provide advisory services to entrepreneurs, founders, and businesses, both large and small. Now, some of the key investment banking firms, you probably heard of some of these, you just maybe didn't know what they did. You got your government contracting investment bankers. Now, these you may not have heard of. You got Baird and Aronson. Now, you got some bulge bracket banks, investment banks. So they call them bulge brackets, huge investment banks. You got Barclays, you got Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Chase. You got Morgan Stanley. Bank of America has an investment banking division. Truist has an investment banking division. HSBC, you get the idea. Huge banks. But they help entrepreneurs and founders buy and sell their businesses. This could be a full sale. This could be a partial sale. This could be you going public. When you go public, you're selling your business to the public, and you're typically listed on one of the stock exchanges, whether that's the Dow or the New York Stock Exchange, or you get the idea. And then you got mergers and acquisitions. A mergers and acquisition is when two companies are coming together to form one. Okay, that's the role of an investment banker. In government contracting, I get a lot of people who get very happy about their contract volume, but we make our money on the exit. You're going to make the majority of your money. I'm talking about real money in your pocket on the exit. And one of the players who can help you with this is an investment banker. Just like when we sell a piece of real estate, it's normally wise to have a real estate agent who's going to help you get the most value out of your property and get the best price possible based on your unique circumstance. The investment banker does the same thing for business owners and large businesses. The job of the investment banker is to put together forecasts and perform and all these financials to make your business look as favorable as possible to potential buyers. And for that, just like the real estate agent, they get a fee. The investment banker also gets a fee for doing all this work and putting your business in front of buyers that normally wouldn't have seen you. So as your business grows, you need to form relationships with the investment banking community and start figuring out when investment banks are looking at businesses, what are some of the metrics and key performance indicators they look at to maximize value, to maximize sales price, whether you're looking at a partial or a full sale. So find you some investment banker friends, build those relationships, and get an idea of how they're doing their financial modeling and what are they looking for and what do they determine to be great aspects for a large or a very valuable sale. So you want to maximize that value. Just like you want to maximize value before you get ready to sell your house, there's some things you can do, like kitchens are a great way to maximize value. There's some things you should be doing as a business owner right before a sale, as you prepare for a sale, to maximize value. So the more of that information you have, the better arm you're going to be to get a better valuation and a higher sales price. Okay. I could get into what evaluations and what government contractors sell for, but we won't do that in this video. Number 8, you need a wealth management advisor. Now notice I didn't say financial planner. We're talking about, these are high net worth individuals. You've grown this business. You've been in this business 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 15, 20 years, however long you've been in the game, and you have accumulated some money. So now you need a wealth management advisor. Now, wealth management advisors are licensed financial advisors who help high net worth individuals, that's the key word, and their families to manage their financial wealth. High net worth individuals. If you do government contracting long enough, you're going to be a high net worth individual and family as well. They provide financial planning and investment management services that consider the client's short and long-term financial goals. Now, they work with clients who already have high net worth, typically in the millions, and can provide more specialized tax planning and estate planning services. This is more than what you're going to get from your traditional financial planner. It's going to be on a much higher level. You know, when you get ready to sell the business, they're going to help with some of the tax offset. They're going to do things like maybe buy some bonds, and they're going to do some things to very creatively, but legally, to minimize your tax liability. They may even do some negotiation in partnership with the IRS on your behalf to minimize the initial outflow. And they're going to look at how they can raise or increase your principal so you can actually offset that tax expense. When you want to buy the jet, they can kind of help you talk about how to plan that out. Now, here's what my wealth management advisor told me and tells his clients. $20 million properly invested after you bought all your houses, cars, clothes, toys, yacht, all the stuff you want to buy, all the stuff on your wish list after you've had a big payday from an exit. You're not doing this with your government contracting contract money. Manage your business, manage against the PEL, maximize revenue, minimize expense. But once you're ready to take some money off the table, either through a full or partial sale, you want to talk to a wealth management advisor, preferably before sale. And you want to get some advice and counsel so that you can minimize your tax burden. And then when you get ready, when you start doing estate planning, you want to make sure you minimize death taxes and the like. Okay. We're talking people who have put several M's in the bank and how to do this and how to stretch that money through a nice, very strong asset allocation table. But I digress. Let me give you a few companies. JP Morgan. I won't tell you who my wealth advisor is. JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and RBS are just a few. But do your own due diligence and make sure when you start interviewing these wealth management advisors, see which ones are more cultural alignment for you. Which one is kind of speaking your language? Who are you vibing with? Who do you trust? Do they seem integral? Are they going to put, this is a great question, are they going to put you first? Talk to some other people who have their money being managed by this wealth advisor and determine how happy they are with it. Ask around. Matter of fact, ask them for some recommendations. And then when you get the recommendation from the the wealth management company, ask the recommendation for a recommendation. So you'll get someone that they didn't send your way, so you can kind of get a real good idea of what's happening. But those are the 8 people that you should have in your corner as your company grows. Now, I recognize that you may not have all these people today. However, over time, you need to be mindful that these are the people that you need to put on your team. And I thought about these are 8. We all need mentors. That was my first one. Number 2, you should have an accountant because you're a business professional. Number 3, we all need attorneys. And we need attorneys who are good at what they do. It's not a one-size-fit-all attorney. Start talking about the FAR, find you a government contractor attorney who understands the FAR. When you start talking about securities and exchange, you need to find someone who understands security and exchange. When you find someone in real estate, you need to find the right attorney based on the challenge that you're trying to solve. Number 4, you need an insurance broker, whether that's commercial insurance or health insurance. You need a broker, someone who understands the space so you can get the best deal based on where your business is and what the needs of the business are at that time. And over time, those needs will change, and your insurance broker will be able to best advise you on how to manage that process. Number 5, you need a great commercial banker. Again, these are business loans. This could also include real estate loans. If you're not quite bankable yet, you need an alternative finance professional. Now, sometimes in government contracting, the business will grow faster than your bank can keep up. So you want to always keep that alternative finance person in your pocket, and you want to see if your bank, a lot of them are going to push back. Let me be very honest. A lot of them are going to push back, but you want to see if they'd be willing to do an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, so that when the bank doesn't react quick enough, that the factoring company or the alternative finance company can step in. Now, most of them will push back, but you have to navigate the relationship. These deals do not happen quickly, so you want to put them in place before you need them. You do not try to put this deal in place because your bank won't up your line of credit fast enough and your customer paid you a little longer than you thought, and now you're kind of hitting the limit on that line. So put this in place before you need it. But do know and do expect resistance from the bank, because both creditors, the finance company, alternative finance company, and the bank all want first position. But if you work it, you can find some folks that will play nice together in the sandbox, but this will be a labor of love to get in place. I do want to warn you, but it's worth doing, especially if you find yourself in a pinch. Number 7, need an investment banker. At some point, we should all be looking at selling our businesses, pulling some chips off the table. Even if it's not a full sale, maybe it's a partial sale, so you can get some value from the equity you built, the value you built in this business. And then last but not least, we all need a wealth management advisor. You can start talking to these people before you get M's, because you definitely want to make sure that when you get some M's, that you have a wealth management advisor on your team. That's all I got. I hope this video was helpful. Hope you gleaned some insight from this, and I hope it helps you on your path to becoming a millionaire. And I'll see you in a future video. Until next time.